Hi folks, Brian here. Tuesday, February 6, 2024. I want to talk about what's happening on our planet. There's 3 references you can go to find out what is happening on our planet and what is going to be happening on our planet. First and foremost, and the most important one, is Scripture. Even through all its different variations. Next, there's reputable researchers, such as the Chilean scientist, astronomer Carlos Ferrada, who put in almost 59 years of documented research into planet. People like John Moore, Liberty Man, and others. And then third, believe it or not, you have the mouthpiece of the government and the United Nations, which is the mainstream media. Yes, you should believe them, okay? Seriously. They are telling you what is going to happen through predictive programming. They just can't tell you the reason why. They can't. Are you picking up on all the predictive programming very recently about our weather events? That they now had to come up with a category 6 for hurricanes, and there's going to be more massive destructive superstorms and oceans inundations. You pick it up on all that? You know who else picked up on that? Luke 21, verse 25. He's forewarned us long ago. It reads that there will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. Roaring seas and strange tides, the Bible speaks of. Gee, Brian, that's what's happening right now. Yeah. People will faint from terror, apprehension of what is coming on the world. For the heavens will be shaken. So when people start to wake up and they realize that, we are nearing the end times, a lot of people go straight to the book of Revelation. They cheat. There's so much more before the 66th book, such as in Matthew 24 and Luke 21 and Mark 13, Isaiah, Ezekiel, and the rest of the boys. They all tell us what is to happen. Acts 2, verse 19, which has more than one definition. But it's all there. And it's all beginning to unfold for anybody who is awake or about to awaken. In the beginnings of the sorrows, the birth pains, the great earthquakes in diverse places, the volcanic eruptions and destructive weather events, the pestilence and the famines and the wars and the rumors of wars. I leave out the wars and the rumors of wars because we've had that since the beginning. But he tells us not fear not of these things, of the wars and the rumors of wars. But everything else. And yet, with the exception of Revelation 16:18, all else before does not give a cause of the great earthquakes in diverse places. and of relating to that, the volcanic eruptions and the roaring and tossing of the seas. But it does. It does. It tells you of the star Wormwood. Now, Wormwood, of course, is also used to describe the bitterness, the sorrows, the punishment, but it is also the star. So when you think of the star as a celestial body, which eventually has to come closer and closer to the earth, it's not going to hit the earth. You have to consider what would the gravitational electromagnetic influence of a large celestial body, a star Wormwood, would have on our planet and the rest of the planets. The heavens in upheaval. What would that do? Such as people like John Moore and Carlos Ferrata have told us, and Luke. It would cause oceans inundations and tossings and roarings of the seas, and the great earthquakes, the great stresses, and the volcanic eruptions, and the destructive weather events. It all fits together. It's all coming together. Clearly, can't you see it? And we are also being, not the we that are awake, but everybody else are being programmed to prepare for these destructive weather events, these Category 6 hurricanes, the destructive superstorms, there are tornadoes where we normally don't have tornadoes. Because of the collapse of our jet streams, which normally flow from west to east, but now they're trying to flow from north to south. Oceans inundations. And it will cause the great earthquakes, the volcanic eruptions, and the vapors of smoke from beneath, the heat, the fires. And I've been saying for the past 2 years, I'm going to repeat myself, they will first manifest where the crust is thinnest, the oceanic crusts, average of 6 kilometers thick, and such as I've been showing you. Then I said it will be the continental shelves and then the coastlines. And what is happening all along the coastlines in Texas, Louisiana, North Carolina, Chile, South America. And any of you and us up here in the northern hemisphere, as the earth starts to angle and rotate into the sun-facing solstice, we're next, man. The fires. And all these things will fill men's hearts with apprehensiveness, perplexity, anguish, falling faint from the terror. All these things are foretold through scriptures, through people who seek the truth and who have dedicated their lives. I invite you again to revisit that movie, Leave the World Behind, and leave your prejudice behind. Forget about the racial overtoning. Look at it again closely. Everything has to be a cover story to explain the truth. For as he stated in that movie, the truth is much scarier. And the cover story does not explain everything that happened in that movie. The cover story in that movie is the same as which the World Economic Forum has been broadcasting and preparing you for. Ooh, cyber attack. Cyber attack does not explain the disoriented deers. I did. A cyber attack does not explain all the flamingos landing in the swimming pool. And the scene of the so-called nuclear explosions in the city scene, give me a break. There's still helicopters flying around that city scene. Induced current to the substations. Boom. The scene in the bedroom wall, 3 separate scenes. The first scene, relatively calm, low. Second scene, the seas are getting rougher. They are higher. And the third scene, the actors standing in the room and the waves are way above their heads. Oceans inundations from the earth wobble effect. The seas and roaring and tossing. In perplexity. I'll remind you again that President Obama in March 2016 went to Cuba after the Russian Patriarch Kirill went to Cuba and met in secret with Pope Francis, the first time these two spiritual leaders met in 964 years. And then Patriarch Kirill was hastily sent to the Antarctica. Then Obama makes his visit to Cuba and meets with the Cardinal Ortega. Then he proceeds down to Argentina a day later. And after that, he went south, Argentina, which is the connection point to the Antarctica. He went there to view, and shortly before leaving office in October 2016, the executive order to prepare the nation for catastrophic space weather events, and as it was written, from the sun to the earth, and in brackets, from within the solar system. It's all cover stories and predictive programming. And now we are beginning to see and feel. Did you know that last year, 2023, there were a total of 24 magnitude 7+ earthquakes on our planet? 3 of those were 6.9. I included those, considered them a 7. Did you know that 17 of those 24 earthquakes happened following space weather events, geomagnetic storms? Of the remaining 7, I don't know how many of those could have happened after coronal hole streams, bringing in the highly charged particles. You have 3 choices. I've been listening to all 3 of them, but I would get yourself into the book. Don't go straight to the book of Revelation. You still have a little bit of a time. We still have a little bit of a time. It does not mean that we will be left unscathed. The 55,000 dead people in Turkey were the thousands of people in Afghanistan, the almost 20,000 people in Libya, the thousands of people in Morocco, the 112 burnt people so far in Chile. You think that's a lot? The first half of the tribulation period, 1/4 of the world's population will be dead. That's a total of 2 billion people. You want to divide that into days? That is 1.5 million people dying every single day for 3.5 years. My personal gut feeling is that within 1 week, we're going to have a major seismic and or volcanic event. This is my intuition. Water events. You know how much water, weight, and stress is going to be put onto the San Andreas Fault in California and the other faults? The inundation and erosion of coastal areas, infrastructure damage. It's only the beginning. You know how much heat is rising up, causing all these fires? And if Scripture holds true, and as Wormwood draws nearer, all these things, the birth pains, are only going to increase in amplitude. What was it that the third secret of Fatima said? One of my videos. Then in October will be the beginning of the tribulation period, but it will not start with a bang. It'll be starting slowly yet consistently. Remember, people, all of these things must first come to pass in culmination together. You cannot cherry pick one thing and say, oh, we started tribulation. Oh, it started in 2019. Foolish are you. So, So this morning, my heart didn't start racing when I saw that Halo CME. As you saw in my video, very calm, cool, and collected, sipping on my cup of coffee, relaxing. Oh yeah, another Halo CME. When you understand, truly understand what's happening to the sun, when you understand that it's one-sided on the sun, it's always on the backside that these big, huge events are happening. Maybe Saul's evil's twin sister, Sal, is closer, sneaking up behind, and it's making its magnetic connection. Boom. When you truly understand it. Don't get worked up about it. There's no need to hearts to be racing. Fill yourself with knowledge and faith, not fear and fear porn. Fill yourself with the knowledge of the Scriptures, which tells you everything. Watch out for the fear porners and the spooks out there. Because when the spooks start telling you, Oh, the winds will never get higher than 200 miles an hour. And this and that will never happen. It's because they're put in place to deceive you and to steer you away from the truth, including spiritually. When you have a few of these, you gain some wisdom with age. And you see through all the frauds.